take care of your people in these tough times. Be humane, be with them, coach them, motivate them, support them. Tide over. It's going to be painful for a little longer, but tide over. There is sunshine on the other side, so stay bright.
We have the pleasure of welcoming Akhilesh Bahl today to our interview series. I'm Anushka Rajesh from the peopleHum team. Let's begin with just a quick introduction of peopleHum. peopleHum is an end-to-end, one-view integrated human capital management automation platform, the winner of the 2019 Global Cody Award for HCM that is specifically built for crafted employee experiences and the future of work. We run the peopleHum blog and video channel, which receives upwards of 200,000 visitors a year and publish around 2 interviews with well-known names globally every month. And now for our guest, Akhilesh founded Malt and Salt Hospitality with the aim of providing excellence in hospitality management and consulting, growth acceleration, and hospitality investments management. With over 2 decades of experience in hospitality, real estate, strategic marketing, and knowledge management, Akhilesh is a specialist at starting, launching, and successfully operating F&B businesses, establishing and ramping ventures, whilst streamlining operations and profitability are the key assets to Akhilesh's focus in building great ventures. We are extremely happy and honored to have someone of this stature today on our interview series. Welcome, Akhilesh. We're thrilled to have you.
Thank you very much. It's an absolute pleasure.
It's our pleasure too. So the first question I had for you, Akhilesh, was let's start a little bit about yourself. Can you tell me a little bit about your journey so far that has brought you to Malt and Salt Hospitality?
So I've been in Dubai for about 16 years now running. And of course, I come from India. I did my hotel management plus graduation, worked with the Taj group of hotels in India there, and then, did my MBA. I guess F&B was always, and yet remains to be a huge passion. And besides doing whatever else I could in terms of, an MBA and then a bit of knowledge management, real estate, media, it was still a great passion to get back into hospitality. And over the last, so many years here, I've had the absolute pleasure and honor of working with various groups, various organizations, ideating, creating, and working on very unique F&B concepts, bars, lounges, sushi concepts, Thai fusion, Indian, Italian, Asian, so across the board, gourmet cafe formats. And, during the journey, I realized about little over 5 years ago, 2014, that it was time to turn entrepreneur and it was time to, set up your own entity. And that's how Malt and Salt was formed. As the name denotes, it's clearly F&B. So there's a lot of malt and there's a lot of salt, hopefully. And that brings in the food and beverage element and the passion coming together for the business. Malt and Salt, in essence, is a hospitality management firm. Okay. What I mean by that is that we get involved with entrepreneurs, investors, with the wish to get into the F&B space or the hospitality space. And we help them ideate their thoughts. We help them create and conceptualize viable F&B business models. And then we take them to the next level of helping them and supporting them in implementing the idea into reality. But also the journey doesn't stop there. It's only half the journey done. We then get involved even in operating the business and growing the business and scaling it up for them. So that's where I say it's hospitality management and not just consult. Consulting happens by virtue of, getting involved and staying in the business. But it's clearly hospitality management. And then that's the focus for Malt and Salt.
Wow, that is such an interesting journey you've had.
Thank you.
Personally, I'm so interested in hospitality. So hearing you speak about this is something that I really was looking forward to. Okay, so moving on to our next question. So, Akhilesh, how do you think, how is the customer experience strategy different for the hospitality industry?
I think, at the end of the day, we're all consumers. We're all customers of one form or another, irrespective of industry. We all consume data, science, food, beverages, travel experiences. So at heart, we all want to be taken care of. We all have specific requirements and desires and needs and tastes and preferences, not just for food, but general lifestyle. And I think in a sense, from that perspective, we're no different. If you look at an IT firm and they're a software development firm, but there is a client who requires something specific, you do get into personalization, you do get into customization. It's the same scenario in F&B. A guest comes into your restaurant and he wants a particular dish made a particular way. It becomes, great from a serviceability perspective and a customer engagement perspective to go the extra mile and make them happy. It also challenges you internally in your own operations to go back into the kitchen and bring out that customization. Much like an IT firm would go and talk to their developers, I go and talk to my chefs. So, to answer your question, I think we're no different as people and individuals, irrespective of nationality, or geography in the world. But what happens in hospitality is it's a very fast-paced, short-lived, immediate customer engagement, and an experience that you provide to your customers. So you've got to be really on the ball all the time. You can't miss an eyelid. You can't just say, hey, all right, it's okay if one customer is upset, we'll deal with them later. You can't deal with them later. You've got to solve the problem immediately. If they're sitting on the table at your restaurant and they have a concern, you've got to solve the concern there. You can't tell them, we'll talk to you tomorrow. So from that perspective, customer service and engagement becomes absolutely critical. And you've always got to be smiling. You've always got to be, having the attitude to serve and to engage and to please. So from that perspective, you've got to have your best show on all the time.
True, that is so true. And I love how you make the parallel between IT customer experience and engagement and with the hospitality sector. So that was really enlightening. So moving on to the next question, how would you describe an efficient leader in the hospitality industry, given it involves a lot of people centricity in all its aspects?
I think again, there's no real rule to being a good leader. I think, for me personally, it comes through with a lot of empathy, a lot of understanding about the team members and, engaging with them on a personal level, understanding who they are, where they come from, what's their family background, making it feel more like a family environment. Because, let's be real, if in the hospitality industry, and it's long hours, it's hard work, you're working no less than, 10, 12 hours a day. Out of 24 hours, if you're working 12 hours or 10 hours, that takes away nearly close to about 40 to 50% of the 24-hour life cycle in a day. Then you get back home and you're lucky if you're staying with family, at least you get some family time. You're sleeping, 4-6 hours, and then you're back. So you're really spending as teams or individuals or professionals a greater time at work than with the family or even sleeping. So from my perspective, my most motivating factor is to see when I walk into the restaurants or I walk in and have a chat with the teams in my daily briefings. It's most important to see happy faces. It's most important to see relaxed body language. It's most important to crack a joke and make them feel light and, ask them about their families. Because for me, that's leadership. If they are happy, they'll go and work happy. They'll create great food. They'll serve customers really well. Customers ultimately are happy and they keep coming back and the business is happy. So I think it's a cycle. It's a real cycle, and it's a very engaging and a very exciting cycle. The challenge, however, comes is how do you keep them motivated every day? How do you keep yourself motivated every day? Every day is not a great day. Every day is not a sunny day. So that's where I think leadership kicks in. That's where training kicks in. That's where motivation kicks in. That's where culture kicks in. For me, culture is very important. Creating the right environment of a culture within an organization, within a restaurant team, is so critical for the happiness of the team. Because this happiness then leads to success, and success leads to revenue and profitability, and then it all keeps coming back in. So for me, leadership is people management with a lot of empathy and a lot of humility.
Absolutely. I totally second that. And it's great to know how the leaders of tomorrow are all focusing on empathy and care for their employees more than everything, because they've realized the fact that only by keeping their employees happy are they going to generate revenue. So that's a really wonderful take.
Yeah, and if I might add, it's not a compulsory diktat upon the leader to ensure that he's under pressure, and he has to go out and forcefully and not in real manner make the teams happy. It's got to come from within. If you have a purpose and you prioritize that towards passion for the business and passion for the people, it will come naturally to you to go out and talk to your people and talk to your teams and make them feel comfortable. And then that encapsulates and imbibes a great team camaraderie and team spirit, and that becomes the culture. Over a period of time, if you keep doing this day by day, you realize that you don't need to do it anymore, because the guys then are so motivated themselves. I might be having a bad day, but they'll turn around to me and brighten me up and motivate me. So it's about creating the culture, creating the environment, not out of force, out of clear purpose and passion.
Wow. Couldn't agree more. Thank you so much for that perspective.
Right.
So, Akhilesh, how do you think the hospitality industry has changed given the time of the pandemic and COVID-19?
Everyone's asking this question. It's not a laughing matter. It's a very, very serious challenge that has come upon not just our industry, but the world and humanity. It's very uncertain and very challenging and very painful, to see people suffering, either due to medical reasons or because of the pandemic that has caused so much pain upon businesses and economies. It's causing businesses to shrink, and shrink not by design but by force or under pressure, and that's causing a lot of pain on individuals who have great motivation, who are great at their work, great chefs, great front of house people, great F&B professionals, but they are faced with lack of business, low revenues, forced closures of F&B establishments, low salaries or no salaries, furloughs that have happened across the world, across hotels, airlines, F&B. So it's extremely painful, and if you look at it from a long, dark tunnel perspective, unfortunately, even today, whilst economies have started opening up across the world gradually and carefully, I hope, you're yet not seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. People are talking about a possible relapse and a resurgence when people go out and start socializing a lot more or start interacting a lot more, of a second wave of transmissions, which is scary. We yet don't have a vaccine. The so-called herd immunity might or might not be achieved, and you don't know by when it will be achieved. So it's very uncertain, and it becomes a catch-22 that you can't just keep sitting at home and allow businesses to die. So you have to start chugging on the wheels of the economy again, and you have to start reopening restaurants and hotels and airlines and businesses and IT firms and chemical plants and everything again, and factories again. But you've also got to do it very cautiously and very carefully. From our perspective, from an F&B outlet, industry, I think it's about reinstilling confidence. First, within the teams again, if teams are uncomfortable coming to the restaurant or to the hotel to work, they will always live under constant fear and pressure. So you've got to first sanitize that element of the team. They've got to be comfortable. They've got to be looked after. They've got to be treated well, not just medically, but also financially. And they've got to be supported because they have families to support. If they live abroad, or specifically from my perspective here in Dubai, a lot of people have families back in India, Asia, other nations, and Middle East. So that's prime. Once that is settled from a team perspective, medically and financially, then you've got to make sure that your establishment, your venue, your outlet, restaurant is not 100, but I think 1,000% spot clean, hygienic, sanitized. You follow all protocols, you follow government regulations, you comply more than what is required, and you make sure that you're top and above of the game. And then the third level of engagement is communicating with your customers and educating them that we're ready to welcome you. You want to come and dine in at the restaurants, fantastic. You want to place an order and drive through, do a takeaway, fantastic. You want us to deliver food at your residence or office, great, we'll do that. But rest assured, we've done A, B, C, D, E, and now we're ready to go the next mile in making sure you're comfortable. So it's a long process. People are still scared. People are taking their time to open up, even meeting within families and within friends. They've started, no doubt, going out and socializing at restaurants and beaches and those kind of places. Hotels are reopening around the world, but it's going to take a lot of effort from both ends to come together. The establishments and the customers. Customers now have to realize that this is how life is going to be. We all actually rather have to realize this is how life is going to be for the foreseeable future. And when I say foreseeable future, I'm saying minimum 18 to 24 months. Unless a vaccine comes out tomorrow and it floods the world overnight and we all take a pill and we don't, we're not going to catch the virus, but till such time that happens, we've got to keep chugging and churning gradually, slowly. So it's going to be a very slow process of revival. And what the revival looks like is anybody's guess right now. The common phrases being spoken about are the reset button, the new normal, life in the new normal. It's all uncertain and unpredictable. I don't know how life would be in the new normal yet, and it's very difficult for me to predict. All I can say is, today what we know is the virus is here to stay for a while. We've got to work on self-immunity and self-precaution as businesses as well as consumers and customers. And we have to find a way of coming back together and reliving our lives. We can't stop living our lives. So we've got to go out there and do work and consume things and become customers again. So I think, again, from an F&B perspective, to bring it back into focus, it's a lot of hard work out there right now. It's extremely painful. It is going to get more painful for a while before things start easing up. And before confidence starts coming back in. From my perspective, I see a rather bad 6 months from a pain enduring perspective. And establishments who are able to endure this and sustain this should hopefully on the other side look stronger and leaner and brighter and have more chances of success over the next 12, 18, 24 months, which means getting into 2021, 2022, and protecting businesses, teams, and customers alike. So it's a lot to absorb, but I feel that's the process going forward, like it or not.
Yes, absolutely. It is only when effort is coupled with caution that businesses are going to restart those things that stabilize gradually. I completely.
Yeah.
So, what is your opinion on the all-inclusive term, the future of work? So, how do you think the future of work is going to pan out in the hospitality industry?
We still have to go out to restaurants. We still have to cook food. We still have to serve food. So I think brick and mortar from an F&B perspective, needs to stay. It is bound to stay. We still have kitchens to run. We still have bars to run. We still have hotels to fill. We still have airlines to fly. So from that perspective, the infrastructure yet remains. What is going to happen, which has been happening, it's not something new, which has been happening for years now, is changing preferences of consumers into, let's say food delivery. Across the world, you may call them aggregators of like Uber and Deliveroo and Zomato and Talabat and these chaps who've come and brought in a lot of food tech into the space, into the market. Some like them, some don't like them, but they are here to stay. They've been built as sustainable organizations, though profitability is a question yet. But having said that, the delivery mechanism was already picking up a lot of steam over the last few years, say about 7 to 8 years. And since we've all been in lockdowns across the world, there have been two clear scenarios that have panned out. A lot of people have gone into ordering more, which is home delivery. And people have been ordering a lot of junk more rather than healthy more. But that's probably also because junk delivers faster. Or let's say pizzas and fried chicken, burgers deliver faster and better, and you're used to it. And that's why we've seen sales of pizza restaurants across the world going up. But a lot of restaurants which did not do so much delivery earlier or zero delivery have suffered greatly because customers have not been going to dine in. Perforce, such establishments have had to explore delivering their food. Not all food is great to be delivered. Not all food, when you receive, do you enjoy as a delivered platter. You go to a fine dine restaurant, you get a steak delivered home. It's not the same. So that's been evolutionary or a learning process for a lot of establishments. They're not making as much delivery revenue, but at least they're trying and they're churning over some business. So what's going to happen, I feel, is a lot more focus on delivery. I think every restaurant will now realize the importance of doing some level of delivery. So the burgers, the pizzas, the fried chickens, the salads, the sandwiches, have been, or let's say even a Chinese, Asian, and Indian food has always been focused on delivery also, and a large chunk of their revenue, used to come from delivery business, which will continue, and I think it will grow. But establishments who were not doing so and have now started doing will always remember what happened during the pandemic, and they had to overnight revise their menus, come out with newer dishes or deliverable dishes, as I call them. Look at packaging, look at the customer experience and how they open the packet and how they devour the food. I think they're always going to focus on a certain percentage of delivery. They're not going to kill that ever. That I see happening a lot. I do also see a shift, so the first level I said is a lot more people have been ordering home because offices are shut, people are working from home. The second I see is a lot more people have been cooking at home. My personal experience has been my grocery bills have gone up, but my restaurant bills have gone down. And that's every household, typically, unless you're a bachelor and you've been ordering pizzas every day, which a lot of people do. But so cooking at home has really, really come back in a major fashion. Supermarkets have done well. Supermarket revenues have gone up. Certain supermarkets who were not doing delivery have started doing deliveries now, or hypermarkets. Um, Even a lot of restaurants have been sending ready to cook meal kits to customers' homes with recipes and directions of cooking. So you receive the ingredients with grammages and weights and a recipe format, and then you cook your own meal. And if you're a half a decent cook yourself, you might be able to do a great job at following the recipes and cooking a meal for yourself. So that started also, which I think will continue again. And I think also, what's going to happen towards the future is a lot more deployment of technology, a lot more comfort of dealing with technology, dealing with online payments, a lot more security coming into the technology platforms, which is educating customers and giving them the confidence to go out and order more food or more groceries or more meal kits, more personalizations. I think one more thing that will happen is that large gatherings will become smaller gatherings. Caterings will not happen so much, but there'll be smaller parties of 4, 6, 10 people. So restaurants catering to them, the requirements of customers will become more personalized, will become more live cooking at homes, even if it's a restaurant doing a catering. It'll no longer be 100 people together doing a large party or 500 people doing. I think it'll be 5, 10, 15, 20, up to 50, till confidence kicks back in and a vaccine is available. So I think those will be the steps going forward. To summarize, I think a lot more tech, a lot more security, online payments, online delivery, grocery, meal kits. I think a lot of these will fall into play.
Absolutely. I love that answer. In fact, my next question, you partly answered my next question, which was if you think the gig economy is here to stay given the scenario of the upcoming financial crisis.
Again, like I said, the technology play was always there. What's happened now is, as a result of the pandemic, as a result of everything that's going around, a lot of things have got accelerated. Again, it was I think not designed that way, but it's worked out that way. A few companies have benefited, which are technology companies. The largest social media guys, the likes of Facebook, Google, online platforms, communication channels like we're communicating right now. So I think, in words to say gig economy, I think it's definitely here to stay, but it's bound to grow. And again, taking from the summarization of the previous section, food tech, but newer platforms of food tech, more competition, but as a result, also more consolidation is happening and bound to happen. Not everybody can service all customers, so people will have to start in the tech space coming together to serve common consumers and offer them more, offer them higher value, offer them greater engagement and convenience. So a lot of that will happen. Online payments is going to be a norm anyways. It was picking up. People were getting used to doing it, but I think it'll suddenly, it has, and it will even more suddenly grow. So a lot more, investment would go in there. From an F&B perspective, I see a lot of focus on delivery, a lot of focus on dark kitchens, a lot of focus on cloud virtual kitchens. which are smaller spaces, less capex, less investment upfront, lower manpower, lower working capital. You churn out meals faster, you deliver meals faster. So I think that's going to happen a lot. Shared economy, with what Uber started out. I think that's not just in taxis. I'm saying, that's now come into the F&B space. So virtual kitchens, cloud kitchens are shared spaces. That's going to boom a lot more. That's going to grow a lot more. So I think it's a combination of, a lot of tech play and a lot of business models being turned over their heads. Restaurants will not be the same in the future. Hotels will not be the same in the future. We've got to find new ways of doing business. We've got to think through business models and review the business models and churn the business models for the future. And the biggest supporter or the enabler for this is going to be tech, and thus the play of the gig economy therein.
That was very insightful. I love how you endorse technology even in the hospitality sector. That's really nice.
I think we're all we're all technology players, either as developers or providers or consumers. It's tech that links us. Today, you want to order food home, you'll open your mobile, go to your favorite ordering app, and browse through and choose your cuisine and place an order. The delivery chap comes outside, leaves the food outside, contactless. You've made online payments. You bring the food and enjoy the food. So, and while all that is happening, you're tracking that your food is being prepared, it's left the restaurant, it's being delivered, you speak to the driver or you track the driver. It's all tech play. So, like I said, again, tech is going to enable. I don't think tech is the solution. I think tech is a great enabler for us as businesses to create our solutions with the support of tech.
Perfect. Wonderful. So, Akhilesh, just to wrap up this interview, do you have any other last sound bites that you'd like to leave our audience with?
I think at this point in time, the most important and the most critical thing is to take care of yourselves and to take care of your teams. More so from an F&B perspective, I would say this, that it's not the brand of a restaurant, it's the people of a restaurant. So the teams make the restaurant, and the restaurant then becomes a known brand which serves customers. Take care of your people, take care of your teams. If you lose your people and if you lose the skills of these people, the brand has no value. It'll be very difficult to bring them back or to bring new people back and resurrect your operations and resurrect your brand. So take care of your people in these tough times. Be humane, be with them, coach them, motivate them, support them. Tide over. It's going to be painful for a little longer, but tide over. There is sunshine on the other side. So stay bright.
Love the positivity from your end. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Wonderful, Akhilesh. It was such a pleasure talking to you. I really appreciate your time and sharing your views with us and all our audience. Personally, it's really been an enriching experience for me. And I think if I can learn so much in this 20 to minutes to half an hour, I think our audience will also surely benefit from this. So thank you so much. Take care, stay safe, and have a happy and healthy time ahead of you.
Thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure. And, I wish you all the best and stay safe, please.
Thank you.